What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Carla.
Amanda, we're two sisters, two moms tackling one book at a time. Woo! Okay, before we get started, let me just say those last three chapters that we just read, yes, I have a little bit more love and respect for our boy Hunter. So
Thank
carry on.
you. Thank you. I was coming on here specifically just to get your opinion on Hunter because I'm like, she has to have some respect for this dude at this point. I mean, come on. He has shown, even in just these last few chapters, that he is not that bad of a person. And I understand your weariness, and I get that. But I was like, if she doesn't like him after these last couple of
Oh,
chapters,
God.
there's something wrong with her. No, I'm kidding.
No. I liked how we got to see him grow a little bit after Tristan told him a little bit of a story and everything. I loved how he stepped it up and he was a man in this situation and he said, I'm sorry. I was acting childish. So I was like, yes, you were. That's so anyways, I was very proud of him and good job to Miss Knightley because that arc right there was like on point. And for a second there, my heart was racing. I was like, oh my gosh, she knew because I thought in that little time frame period, I thought Hunter was about to die. So I was like, no, I just started liking you, but we're good.
Yeah,
So
no, that was good. And like I said, like I understand your hesitations with him, but I mean, he literally came out and he admitted that he was wrong, just like you're doing right now, right? He admitted he was wrong.
shut up.
He took, accountability for things, but it does go to show that I think that Hunter was taught so many things that weren't right, and it is a good part of his character that he's willing to come back and be like, you know what, I was wrong. Tristan, I'm sorry, and let's shake hands and let's start over. And I thought that was a really special moment.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a good growth. I really enjoyed it, and I like how she put it all together, to be honest with you. So she did really good on that part. Kudos for her. She got
Yeah.
me to have a little heart for Hunter. So I didn't think it was gonna come. But yeah, those
Like,
three chapters were really good. I really enjoyed them.
yeah, there was a lot. It was funny because I felt like the chapters went so quick, but there was so much packed into them that we were able to really see a lot of character arc shifts and a lot of things sort of happening. We were able to get a little like kind of look into some new additional things that we can talk about a little later about, about the tree gods and the moon goddess. Like there was a lot of things in there that I liked.
Yeah, I liked how it opened up. So it's really wet and everything. So they were trying to find somewhere to stay warm. So I like that opening scene of this like I'm gonna say destruction of a city from the Fox people. And I feel like that kind of opened eyes for Hunter and Sienna on how bad the situation is and how not of good people where she comes from. Like you could tell the Fox Kingdom is they're not good people. Because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure those were what Tristan's people, and they kind of got slaughtered to keep moving forward. So keep
Yeah.
moving that border, like the front lines forward and more forward and everything.
Yeah, because Sienna does say that she's like, I didn't really question why we kept moving because I think she said they moved like 6 times,
Yeah,
and they kept moving forward, and she just kind of assumed that they were moving to different spots of the Fox territory, but really what was happening is they were taking over Anwin's territories and kind of pushing Anwin's people back. So it's like they probably went from having like very similar amounts of land to um Wynn taking over most of Anne Wynn's territory and just pushing their lines further back to a point where they probably are all clustered together and they don't have much space left. And it was really, really sad to see. And you see Hunter and Sienna both kind of coming to this realization as our people are not heroes. They are not what we were taught to believe. And it's really sad and it's really unfortunate.
yeah. And through all that, even Tristan said that that's how they're losing the old god of the north because they keep having to move, and that's usually one of the last things that they would try to grab out because even Sienna's like, I've never seen any artwork like this at all, and I don't even know who these people are. Like, how
Hmm.
crazy is that? Like, because you're attacking somebody's like land, now they're losing bits and pieces of who they are too. So I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it makes you wonder, like, going back to like the original story, the Fae came together with the humans, and then they created almost like this hybrid of like powerful people. So you have the people who are able to control the shadows and who are able to control the light. And it almost seems like people were taught to believe that the light people were, the good people. But now we're seeing that, at least it seems like, that Sienna's father, or Lwyn, is basically kind of getting rid of the history. Like they don't want anybody to
Yeah.
know about how everything was came to be. And I have to say that Hunter was right when he told Sienna, as much as I know you don't want the throne, like you have said for the longest time, you don't want to be the queen, you don't want to take the crown, but she almost has to. And the fact that she doesn't want it is almost why she has to, because she's the only person who might be fair and who might actually be able to bring peace, not just to Lynn, but to all of the territories combined, and be able to stop this war.
Yeah. Which I can see where she's coming from too, because she doesn't want the power to get to her, because that's one of her biggest fears is if she does become queen, she doesn't want to be corrupted like her father is, because no one knows what happens with all that power, you know? So I can see where she's coming from too. But she did make a point.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm kind of hoping too, that we jump forward into the future of her brother is the next of heir. She has no power over that. And now I'm wondering, because Hunter even said it, but you don't know what your father's capable of, like how he's going to train him up. Because what if he could corrupt him too? So I'm hoping that we do get a glimpse of a jump in the future to see how that's going to work out, because the dad can't stay king forever, you know?
Yeah. Well, and Sienna had her grandmother kind of helping, I don't want to say raise her, but at least instilling this positive thought process in Sienna's mind. And so that's why Sienna is who she is today, because she had her grandmother really more instilling all this into her mind, unlike her father. And her brother only has her father. So it's like,
Wait,
you,
are you saying that now because we think Elena's dead? Like, was that our cue that she's dead? Was that our hint that she died? Like, or will
I
she be
don't
alive to
know.
be that grandmother, because she does have the moth ring, so she does think like the grandmother and everything. She might be his light in the world.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think the best case scenario for her brother is the fact that she has Elena as a mother, and we're hoping that the king doesn't do anything to her. But the last we know of it is that the king was like telling Sienna, "Oh, I'm going to marry Elena. Like, this is the path we're going on," because he does believe, obviously, that this child is his. But after Sienna escaped, we don't know what ended up happening to Elena. Does the king think that maybe Elena had something to do with it? Because it probably would make sense. So if that's the case, maybe he is going to do something to her. And then the only person who's able to raise up this brother would be the king, which is the worst case scenario for all of them, because they can't have another king point or king 2.0. It just won't work.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping then in that case, the commander is going to step up, because if that's the case, then the commander should be dead. You have a traitor son, you have a traitor niece, you should be dead. So I'm hoping he steps up to protect his niece in some sort of way, rather just because, we all know now that he wants the wealth of the kingdom and everything. So I'm hoping he does step in, so maybe Arlena is still alive because of him.
What a turn of events if Commander Malin ended up being like on the good side out of everything. I don't think it's gonna happen. But like, what happens if like all of a sudden he's like, I was actually here for the peace people, and he, ends up being this fantastic guy, and we're like, wow, what a slap in the face to all of us. I'm just kidding.
He might like see what's going on now, and he's just all like, "Oh, I need to be on the Elena's side right now." I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know, but I'm hoping he steps up, because if not, if you really think about it, the king should have him killed first. Because your son is gone with my daughter. Not only that, but your niece let him go. So I'm hoping he comes up with a plan to, one, either protect Elena and just blame everything on his son, which I feel like that's what he would do anyways. R2, he's going down
Hmm.
with that entire family, and that's the last that we hear of him.
I think that the fact that Elena was the one who ended up, having the king's child, whether it's the actual child of the king or not, the fact that she was the person who was selected for this makes me believe there is something more to her and her character. Because, I mean, is it just coincidental that she happened to be part of this moth society group and she just stepped forward and was like, oh, I'll give I'll give the king a baby? Or was there a plan that was put into place and everything just happened to line up properly? Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's more to her character and how did she end up in that spot? And I don't think it was by accident. I think there was a reason that she was selected to put her in that position to maybe have a baby with the king to hopefully get one of the moth people on the crown on the throne.
Oh, maybe. Hey, we talked about it a little bit last episode where I still feel like she fell in love with somebody who she probably wasn't supposed to. They got pregnant, and for the commander to save the name of his family by saying, "This is what we're going to do before anybody finds out. We're going to put you with the king." And then, boop, one and done, she got pregnant right away, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah.
like there's more that we're missing. So, but no,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah. And that's our rant of going on from the brother taking over. So,
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's going to go obviously one of two ways, but I kind of feel like if the king is able, if something happens to Elena, then I can't imagine something good coming out of the brother. I just don't
yeah,
see it.
there's no light for him unless the
Mhm.
librarian comes back and he's the light for him. So, that's how they find the book.
Yeah.
I'm still like curious on what's going to happen with that book. So,
But I want to know what happens with the book. I want to know who finds it, if it's found, or if that ends up being like the key piece to what Sienna needs to be able to figure out everything that's going on. So I guess we're going to find out, hopefully.
yeah. Yeah, so as we move a little bit forward, where they're sitting by the fire, and this is where Tristan tells the story, right, of the goddess and the tree people and all that stuff that you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah. So, because Sienna's like, I have never heard any of the stories. And so she's kind of curious as to what is happening or, I don't know, the
Because it's not a
history, I
place
guess you
of
could say.
worship that she was used to. She's like, I've never seen
Yeah.
something like this.
Yeah, so Tristan goes on to tell them about the tree god and the moon goddess. And I feel like this was very interesting, almost like metaphors to use, because the way I interpret it when I was reading is that, well, to start, let's say that the tree god and the moon goddess came together and they weren't supposed to, and they had a baby, and that baby ended up being part of like the wolf society, right? Like that's where the wolves came from. Um, but I almost kind of interpreted it as the tree god is almost like the humans, and the moon goddess is more like the fae. I don't know why, but when I was reading it, that's kind of, I almost felt like it was metaphors for that,
Yeah. That makes sense. I
you
could see
know?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
got
that,
it
and they
too.
just, cause like, if you think about it, the tree is grounded to the earth, like the people. And then you have the moon, which is more kind of fantasy, like fae type. That's good. I don't know. That's just how I interpreted it. And it's very similar to like the story that Sienna read when she was back in her town, is about, the fae coming together with the human and then creating the light and the dark, powerful people. So I thought there might be some type of similarity between the two.
I can see that. That's a good point.
Hmm.
Hence why
Yeah.
the wolves howl at the moon.
Yeah. But like the other thing too is why was it forbidden? Why was the love between the moon goddess and the tree god forbidden? They didn't really talk about that. We just, all it said is that their love was forbidden.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes two opposites are sometimes forbidden. But like you
Yeah.
said, you have one Earth and then one's out in outer space. So they could probably
Yeah.
only be together as the moon is full or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Which again, going back to maybe Sienna's grandmother, maybe she's part of maybe more of the Fae, or I mean, I don't know. like more of the of Anwin. I do think that the grandmother, I feel like there's, and we've said this so many episodes, but I do think there's more to her. But I do feel like there could be something more related to her being on the opposite side. Um, and yeah, we don't have to get into all that again, but that's kind of, I feel like we're starting to get more clues that are going to lead us to Sienna being more of the heir of the North, because that's what I
I'm
truthfully
telling
think
you,
she
I
is.
think she is. Yes, I've said it before. I'm sticking my grounds, even if it's not it. I'm still sticking my grounds. I'm just kidding.
Hmm.
I think
Now,
she is.
did you also notice that Tristan talked a little bit about the dead queen and how there's been multiple dead queens? So I think this whole time you and I have been under the impression, just like Sienna and Hunter have been in, that there's been one dead queen and that she's just been somebody who's been continuously ruling. But we come to find out that the dead queen, they've had multiple different ones. And anytime the dead queen is kind of ready to pass on, she provides or she kind of brings on the next dead queen. And the dead queen seems to be the one, obviously, that's able to reanimate the wolves. And I thought that was an interesting thing to talk about.
So I totally took it probably out of context. But when I read that part, I thought of The Last Airbender, the Avatar, how every time each avatar goes, you have a little piece of the last avatar in there. So I was like, I wonder if that's what's
Oh,
happening right now, where each like dead queen passes a little piece of herself into the new dead queen, you know?
oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
That was a fun way to think about it. And then I was like, that's probably way wrong. But no, it would have been really cool because he did say when I, this isn't word for word, when they decide to pass on, like it sounded like, okay, well, I'm done with this life. I want to keep going. I'm going to pass on to the next person, you know?
Hmm.
So
And what makes somebody the dead queen? That's my other thing is, how do you like, what are the qualifications for it? Like,
you got to be dead.
does some,
I'm just kidding.
well, I mean, like, is there a specific power that's given to you to be able to reanimate things? Because the way, and again, going back to this whole moon goddess and the tree god, is that it almost seems like the moon goddess was the original dead queen. Because, okay, let me see if I can explain this without confusing my own mind, but it was like something along the lines of, the dead queen reanimates the wolves. That's why we have these corpse wolves who are running around. And the reason why is because she looks at them as like her children, right? So she wants to keep them around. She keeps reanimating them, bringing them back. But the wolves originally came from the tree god and the moon goddess and their children. So it's like, does that mean the original, I guess the original dead queen was the moon goddess, and then she just kept passing the mantle down?
Oh, maybe. Maybe. I do know Tristan said there wasn't a bunch of them in the beginning until recently. So I'm like, oh, did they kill people or kill the wolves to get the corpses? Or was this really all like because of the wars been on forever that's how they slowly got their
Mm-hmm.
things. But I could see that it was the moon goddess because he did say they were her child like her she loved them like her children. So she could have just passed it down to maybe that's what they're looking for is the next heir to pass it down because she's over it.
Now, here's a theory. Um, I don't know. Have we seen Tristan in his wolf form yet? Do you
No,
remember?
not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
We've only seen
So,
his smoke it.
right. Here's the thing. Remember early in the book when Sienna was riding home to her father and the wolf attacked the people who Sienna was with when she was on her way home, but he like completely overpassed Sienna. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we already talked about that too a while back. And I said that we think it was
Right.
him.
Yeah, Tristan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like we're really starting, I'm really starting to think that was him. Well, what if Tristan, because Tristan knows a lot about like, reanimating the wolves, and he talks about how it's not good to reanimate them and bring them back. But what if he actually is one that's been brought back?
Are you bringing back my theory?
Oh, no, I mean,
You crushed it and you cut my branch off, and now you're like, let me glue it back on.
back on. No, but it just makes me think like we haven't really seen Tristan in his wolf form. So we don't really know. We just know that Tristan does have a lot of knowledge. Okay, let's talk about the things we do know. We know Tristan comes from he's considered a wolf. We do know this. We know he has powers of the wolves. We know that the moon goddess created the wolves, like those were her children. So he could be a long descendant from the original moon goddess, but he also could be, there's a possibility that he could have been somebody who was reanimated. But I do feel like I don't know, because he seems like he's a good person. And the way he talks about the wolves that have been reanimated is that they don't really have a soul, they're not good people, they're not who they originally were. So maybe he's not, but I don't know.
I'm gonna chop your tree branch down that you're trying to glue back on so bad, only because you chopped mine off. No, I felt see, I don't know either because, well, I guess we could put a pin in it now. Are we gluing the branch
I
back
don't
on?
know.
Like, what's happening here? I don't know. The way you said it on the episode we did talk about it, you kind of put a stop to that one really fast. But now, like in my head, I'm like, she totally makes sense now because the wolf was dead. It was decaying and everything, and Tristan is alive. Tristan is nice. He understands. Like he has his soul still. It seems like maybe he's just more powerful than everybody else because he's been around for so long that he kind of, I don't know. See, I guess we could glue it back on. Glue it back on.
Or we could go with the theory that the wolf that came after Sienna that day was her grandmother. And that's why she didn't hurt Sienna.
Oh, maybe she saw the knife. That's a good one. But if we do go back to the grandmother, one, I'm sorry that is messed up. You ate her horse.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is the grandmother, but I do wonder who that wolf was because it did lock eyes with Sienna and it seemed to want to spare Sienna. So that's what made me think, well, maybe it is Tristan, or long far fetched, it could be the grandmother. Like, I don't know. But
Or maybe
I
when you're
feel
in
like
wolf
there's
form, you really don't know, but something of the moth knife clicked with the grandmother being that wolf, you know?
right. Yeah. Oh, I mean, we could go on for hours about this. I don't know. If anybody has any theories out there, let us know in the comments. No spoilers, just let us know your theories because I mean, this is such a complicated, like there's so many different branches that we could go in and I just don't know which one's going to be correct.
I know that is fun. That is fun. Okay. Okay, carry on,
Yeah.
soldier, carry on. That's
Well, we do know that once they get down to the city and they fall asleep, that Sienna, the horses start to, like, I think detect like something there, and Sienna kind of gets up and is like something's going on. So her and Hunter go for like a walk and like kind of look around, and they end up running into these creatures that were completely freaking me out. What did you think of them?
I thought I was like, this is where Hunter dies. I'm just kidding. No, I wasn't though. I really thought he was gonna die here because she sees something in the house and he's all like, okay, I'm gonna go investigate this myself. You stay here. And she's like, yeah, right, loser. So I was like, oh, he's gonna die. They were pretty intense because what did she say? It like gaped its mouth open with like all these teeth showing and everything, and it was just a skeleton type
Yeah,
shadowy thing floating around super fast.
yeah,
But
yeah. They
Tristan
were
was all like
wraiths, or I don't know.
they wanted
Well,
revenge.
I don't. Yeah, and I don't know you. I don't know if you like pronounce it wraiths or wraths, but I usually just go with wraths. But yeah, they were like these little wraths creatures, and they were floating, and yeah, they had these scary teeth. And what did Tristan say that they were? That they were like the souls that were
They
left
were like
over.
wrongfully killed and now they just want revenge. So I was like, what were you killed for? How were you killed? Because they're like stuck there. So it was very interesting because there was three of them. So was that due to Sienna's guards, not guards, but the knights that were there that destroyed that village? Are those people wrongfully killed and now they want revenge?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing that yeah, it was. My guess would be that it would be the guards that came from Lewin, and when they took over, and they probably did wrongfully, obviously kill these people. Because to me, it seemed like a village of just Anwin's people that was just doing their thing. Like they were just living normal lives. And then in come the soldiers and just take over. And they kind of destroyed the place because the way it's
Like
described was,
slaughtered them.
yeah,
They
it's
burned them.
horrible. And yeah, and even though that Sienna's like, well, we didn't do anything to it, it's like they could sense where she's from and know, like, well, your people did this, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
See?
they go taking off.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we do see was I wonder if Tristan really was going to sacrifice himself or was he going to change into the wolf and be able to save him? But Sienna just didn't give him a shot at doing anything, you know, because he grabbed Sienna by the arm and they were moving really fast. And he said, no matter what happens, keep going. But then she stayed behind. But we see not Hunter, Tristan stay running towards the shadow people. And he ducks and I thought he was going to go into like a wolf form or we were going to see something exciting, but Sienna didn't give him a chance and she became like this all glowy powerful light thing that she didn't even know she had the ability to do. But
Hmm.
did we miss our shot to see Hunter or Tristan turn into the to the wolf?
Right? I do think that this is a hint, though, to if we do believe that Sienna is the heir of the North, I think this is a hint to Tristan maybe knowing this because Tristan, why would he, for absolutely no reason, sacrifice himself to save Sienna when she is technically the enemy, which when technically it's like they're so close, does he really need her to get to the other side? Really, at this point, he's going to end up having to give her the information. So the fact that he's willing to sacrifice himself tells me that Sienna is a lot more to this whole, concept of the heir of the North. Um, and I think this is kind of a clue that leads us down that path.
Yeah. Or it might be a clue that he is one of the corpse wolfses and he just didn't want her to see what he really looked like because he ate her horse. But I feel like they did give a clue when they are in, I forgot the forest name, but that certain forest that they say is cursed and everything. But they're cursed because like the air is gone. But if you bring the true air of what was it, the north in here, it might break the curse. So I have a feeling we might see Sienna. Uh, we might see something happen with Sienna in that forest to give us a bit better picture to see if she is the true heir or not.
Right. Okay.
Hmm.
That's a good theory too. I like that theory. So, um, now moving on to they make it past. So because Sienna uses her light powers, which, completely drained her. So she completely passes out. And they're heading out and they run into this woman who stops them and is like, hey, can I come sit by the fire? And she has her family with her. Did you immediately get suspicions of this woman? Because I was immediately suspicious right when she joined in on the story. But what were you thinking in that moment?
Yes, in that situation, you don't trust anybody. Like, look what happened with the farmers in the
Uh
town
huh.
earlier that just happened. Like, to me, my head went really
Mm-hmm.
bad. It's like, oh, they're using the sweet, innocent people first, which, I mean, she's
Uh
just
huh.
one female. Who's scared of that one female? But then it could have been an ambush, you know? So I was with Tristan,
Yeah.
and then you have Hunter, who's just trust of everybody. So,
Hunter's naive in that way.
yeah, I mean, look at where it got him. But yeah, no, they brought in this family with 3 kids. I shouldn't even say family. They brought in this mother with her 3 kids, which I thought was really sad because they were traveling with her husband and her brother-in-law, who was a farmer, who's just trying to survive. So were they part of the city that they no, because then that would be moving backwards. Um, because she did say her village got destroyed. And then that's when Tristan kind of was like being attitudey back because he's like, so you're just running away. So he already knew what kind of people he already knew that they were his type of people, but he wasn't very happy that they were running away, you know?
Yeah. Well, Tristan was immediately suspicious, and yeah, he had this hesitation of like, I don't think so. And you see Sienna and Hunter who are like, oh, it's a mother and her kids, and it also it kind of shows the different lifestyles that they've grown up in, because Hunter and Sienna have grown up in this community of people, and although they everything that their city has gotten has been kind of stolen from their enemy, they have a lot more trust, and it's almost like when they're out and around people, they're just taught to trust whoever's in your area, right? Like, oh, it's a mother and her children, like we should trust them, we should, they're clearly cold, bring them in, which, let's be honest, the mother does play into the whole, you know what is it called, she plays into the story, obviously, of what's happened to them, which I don't doubt isn't what happened to them. I'm sure that is what happened to them. But you have Hunter, or I'm sorry, you have Tristan, who is a lot more hesitant, and he's like, I don't know if I believe these people. And it was just, I thought the perspective was very interesting on both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we do see that they are nice enough to allow them to sit by the fire and everything happens. We do hear the wolves are out and about. They're getting closer and closer, which is even more interesting, um, because we could tell Sienna's scared. Tristan's like, I won't let them hurt you. So I'm like, why are you the boss man? um, but yeah, we see her whole story go out where the mom is trying to keep it together, which I do believe the mom in her story. I do believe
Hmm.
that she literally had everything taken away from her and she is just trying to survive this chaos. I do believe that they were going out to see if they could work anybody's farmland that didn't want to be farmed. And now she just says she's willing to just be taken in by anybody. But as that night ends and the little boy is trying to rob them because we see that he has the power, the same power as Tristan has, in my mind, wouldn't you want to stick close to these people who took you in? Yes, they are going in the direction that you're coming from. But it's like you even said before, the more numbers you have, the safer you are. So instead of trying to go to a whole different place where you don't know anybody, you're not from there, like technically you're just a stranger, which you are, I would have taken my kids and been like, I would be safer with these people over here, right?
You would think so. I would think so, personally. um, but if you look at it too, the irony in which we saw, I think it was last episode, but the irony in the fact that we had Sienna's people who came out and tried to rob them by stealing their money and their clothes and all, all this, all their blankets, all the comfort things. And now, to as they're getting closer to the Northlands, they're having people who are from Tristan's society of people who are now trying to rob them also. So it kind of goes to show the people who are higher up, which would be like Sienna's father, the king, the guards, all these people, and maybe the dead queen and all her high up people, are completely, obviously, destroying everything and all the people below them just to get ahead of the other side. So you're seeing all these people who are just common people, and the only way that they can make it and survive is by stealing and, um not conniving, but
Feeling.
tricking.
You're yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anybody who passes them. And I think if they had known, because you do notice that when they are robbing Sienna, Hunter, and Tristan, that Tristan kind of looks up like, I already knew you guys were going to rob us. And then he
Yeah.
shows his power, which was a lot stronger than what the little boy had. And they look at him, they're like, we didn't know you were a wolf. And he's like, yeah, well, like, would that have changed anything? Would you guys not have robbed us? Would you have robbed us differently? Like, maybe at that point, instead of robbing them, they would have tried to actually attack them while they were sleeping. So um I don't know. I think maybe had they known what Tristan was beforehand, maybe they would have felt more comfortable sticking with them. But I think the mom and the older son saw this as an advantage, like, well, they only have two horses, so not all of us can ride the horses, and they only have so much food left, so only so much of us can have the food. And so at the end of the day, they wanted it to be them that had those items versus sharing them with other people.
No, that was Hunter. Hunter gave up all those items, which I was a little irritated with Hunter. You gave up the horses. Boy, you needed those horses. You don't even know. So this is where my mind goes dark too. One, you don't know if she's going to survive. Plain and simple. So you just gave up your 2 horses for probably a 20, hopefully she does survive, 20-80 chance of her surviving. You could have just kept the horses. Give her the food, you could have kept the horses because you do have a wolf on your side. He could go hunting or whatever, but I was a little irritated when you gave up those
Yeah.
horses.
Well, and it also goes to show what their possible outcomes are. Like Tristan is like, you guys can have the food, that's fine, but we're keeping the horses because we still have a long way to go, which tells me Tristan needs to get Sienna to the Northlands. He needs to get there. And he's like, we can manage without the food because he knows he can hunt, but we need to be able to get there and we need to be able to get there quickly. And the only way for us to do that is with the horses. And then you have Hunter, who sees this woman and her children, and he's like, I think we'll be able to survive. We need to give them everything, not just the food, but we need to give them the horses to give them a chance. So it kind of tells me that Hunter doesn't realize who Sienna probably is, because we're going to assume she's the heir of the North. Tristan does. And that's why Tristan's like, we need to keep the horses. And Hunter's like, why? Let's give it to them. I did think it was a sweet thing for Hunter to do, just in the terms of he doesn't want to be responsible of just kind of letting this mother and her kids go, because he knows by looking at them, the only reason they're doing this is because they're desperate. And the fact that they're on enemy territory, right? Like these are people from the other side. These people are wolves. They have shadow powers. Maybe there's a little bit of Hunter that has this guilt feeling after seeing the town that they came from and realizing that everything that he thought as being part of the guard, that they were doing all this in good. And after seeing all the bad his people are doing, that this was his way of like trying to make up for it.
Yeah. I still think it was a stupid move, but I can see your points.
I didn't say it wasn't stupid. I just said I think that he was trying to do the right thing. He was trying to be nice. I could see where he was going with it. But yeah, was it probably the smartest thing for him and Sienna and Tristan? Probably not. But I can understand maybe where he's coming from and why he did it. But it was really sad, I'm not going to lie, to see those horses, because the horses have been a part of the story for a little while with
Mm.
us. So it's like,
Carla's like, "No."
well, we got to know them. They clearly like were very connected with Sienna and Hunter and now Tristan. And it's like this family is going to take the horses away. I was like, don't take the horses. Leave the horses alone. Like, those are our friends.
"That's my friend. We just lost 2 more horses." No, I can see that.
Yeah,
Alright. Yeah, well, we're almost done with the book.
I know. I think we have 4 chapters left. So,
Alright,
yeah.
well, I guess we'll read the next 4 chapters instead of just doing 3 in 1.
I know. Now, since I know, yeah, let's not do that. This next episode will be the last episode for this specific book. What are your theories on what do you think, like, where do you think we're going to end up? Are we going to make it to the Dead Queen? Do you think we're going to find anything out about the grandmother? What do you think we're going to find out at the end of this book? Because we do know there's a whole nother book. There's a second book. It's already out. We definitely need to make sure we read that book, because I cannot be left on a cliffhanger, and I kind of have a feeling we're going to.
I was
But
just gonna
what are
say
your
the
theories of what we might see?
as how many chapters we have, so however many pages we have, it's not a lot. I feel like we are gonna get to the Dead Queen area, and it is gonna leave us on a cliffhanger, and I feel like we're not gonna be very happy with it because we're gonna and you know what? It's a good thing too because the second book is out, right? It's already out.
Yes, second book is
So
already out.
I feel like sometime this week before we finish those chapters, we need to get the second book. Get the second book
Oh, no, we do.
because I feel like we
We're going to
are
need book two.
gonna. Tristan's gonna. We're all gonna get to the where we need to go, and I feel like we're gonna meet the Dead Queen, and it's just gonna end. But I'm gonna keep my suspicions and say somebody else is gonna pop into the book too. Because the grandmother can't be
Okay.
dead.
Okay.
Watch her be dead.
Good theories. Good theories.
Watch her be dead. What? All my branches are gonna crumble down. No. What about you?
I think we're going to make it to the Dead Queen. I think we are going to have one big final. I do think we're going to end on a cliffhanger. I'm going to say that. And I think we're going to have the cliffhanger either be something to do with the grandma still being around, or we are going to maybe find out for sure, like have it confirmed that Sienna is the heir of the North.
Man, those are two crazy cliffhangers.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think we are going to find out that something to do with like the grandmother and the mother being maybe from Anwin, and that makes Sienna po- quite possibly the heir to both the North and the South.
See, that's what we talked about this earlier too. Remember that the king probably had a treaty with them to marry the mom so their people could finally become together, and he broke the treaty because he kind of seems a
Mm-hmm.
little off. So that would be
Mm-hmm.
very interesting to find out in this book. I feel like we're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna find that out. Or there probably
Yeah.
not. There was no treaty, is what I'm trying to say. But it would be
Yeah.
nice if there was. But yeah,
Or
no.
it could be, yeah, or it could be something like the king's father made a treaty with the dead queen, and
That's a good one.
yep,
It got
and
passed
then
down.
the
Okay.
it got passed down, and then the king didn't like it, and yeah, something happened out of it. That could be
Yeah.
something too.
Okay. That would be
So
exciting. Man, what
yeah.
if though, like I read a series where it leaves you on a cliffhanger, and then the next book was kind of like the opening of the first book though. So we got to see more of a backstory on how we got there. So I'm like kind of
Oh,
getting scared on like, are we gonna get our answers? And if she leaves us on a cliffhanger, is she gonna open us up to be like, okay, well, we kind of got this story now. Let's go to the Fox King and see how he got to where he's at. you know? Like, no, I don't want
you're
that. I
like,
want answers
no.
now. Either way, it'd be
I
great.
know.
So
I
I feel
know.
like we definitely have to look into the second book and get it before we finish this book. So
Yes, yes. Well, we are going to have one more episode for the Dead Queen. So we will give that to you guys on the next one, and we will be reading the next 4 chapters. And then we also have a very special episode coming after that with a wonderful interview with Miss Briar Knightley. Yeah. So, is there anything else you wanted to add before we end this episode?
no, but we love you guys.
Yes. So if you guys are listening to us on Spotify or Apple, make sure you guys subscribe. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Click that button. We love to just do this with you guys. It's been so much fun. If you're watching us on YouTube, also make sure to hit subscribe. Either platform you're listening to us on or watching us on, make sure to comment. Make sure to share this with a friend. If you are not already, make sure to follow us on social media. Also, follow Briar Knightley on social media as well. And you guys will want to get all the information because she does have book 2 out. So you guys are going to want to make sure you pick that up and read book 2, because if you're going to feel like anything like us and you're going to be left on a cliffhanger, you're going to want to make sure you get that second book out so we can get that figured out, right? But but other than that, I guess we will see you guys on the next episode. Happy reading. We will see you guys later. Bye.